Local presentation of Read About It is made possible in part by a grant from Cox Communications of Oklahoma City, proud sponsor of this effort to promote reading, education, and literacy in our community. The following public service program is brought to you by the Metropolitan Library System. And now, Read About It with your host, B.J. Williams.
We have a great show for you today, including an interview with illustrator Kandy Radzinski. But first, coming up, we have Pauline Rodriguez talking with Susie Beasley about a book I'm sure we'll all enjoy.
Pauline, Making Time, Lillian Mahler Galbraith, Life Beyond, Cheaper by the Dozen by Jane Lancaster. How do most people know Lillian Gilbreth?
Well, at some point in our lives, probably in our youth, most of us read the book Cheaper by the Dozen or saw the movie with Clifton Webb and Myrna Loy.
Right.
And it's a great book. But what we usually remember is the house full of kids, the father who's the efficiency expert, and if we remember the mother at all, she's just kind of in the background holding it all together. The book does mention that the parents work together in their consulting business, but the mother's really a secondary character, and that's unfortunate.
Well, why is she the secondary character?
Well, as this book points out, Making Time, Lillian Gilbreth wasn't a secondary anything.
Right.
She was a pioneer for working women.
Right.
She raised a lot of children and had a full-time career outside the home even while her husband was alive, and this was at a time when that was not done.
Right.
She was an equal partner with her husband in the business. She was educated. She had a PhD in psychology, one of the first women to have a PhD.
And didn't she work as an engineer at one time?
She did work as an engineer. She fought to be recognized in engineering circles at a time when women were thought to be incapable of that. And many of her ideas back in the 1920s and 30s are common practice today.
Now, such as, what are some of those practices?
Well, she was one of the first to combine psychology with industrial procedure, and she was an early believer that employees accept changes better and work more productively when they're involved in the decisions. And of course, you know, now we seek buy-in from employees when changes are made. She believed workstations should be designed for the individual worker,
instead of assembly line group type.
Exactly, and that's of course what we know today as ergonomics.
Now, how long did she work? I mean, I think she went into her
She did not
80s?
retire until she was 90, so she also faced up to, spoke against age discrimination, as well as speaking for equal pay for equal work.
Now, it sounds like that she's a really remarkable woman, but we only remember the movie Cheaper by the Dozen and not the person.
Exactly, and the movie and the book Cheaper by the Dozen are meant as entertainment, not as fact, and they're really good entertainment. But reading this book really gave me an appreciation for the real woman, and she was a true Renaissance woman.
So she had all of these remarkable qualities that most women for that time did not have, and we are now following up on that. Well, this sounds very entertaining, and this is really the real deal. Pauline, we appreciate you coming and sharing with us Making Time, Lillian Mahler Gilbreth, Life Beyond, Cheaper by the Dozen. This is available at your local library and perhaps your bookstore. Thank you.
I know it is wet, and the sun is not sunny.
Hi, my name is Jose Jimenez of your Metropolitan Library Commission. You know, most experts tell us that if you just spend 20 minutes a day reading to your child, you're not only building a bond that lasts a lifetime, but you're also preparing that child to learn how to read. Check with the experts at your Metropolitan Library for suggestions on just the right books for you and your family. And visit us at our website at www.metrolibrary.org.
With me is Doug Benton, and Doug, I brought some more summer reading.
All right, what you got?
Well, usually I think of summer reading as something very light. This is science fiction, but it's not very light.
No, it's a big book. It's a big book.
It's a big book, yes. It's written by S.M. Sterling. It's called Dies the Fire, And I believe I reviewed some of his books a little bit earlier this summer. They were about the island of Nantucket being transported back to the Bronze Age.
I remember that, yes.
Yes, and how people coped. Well, apparently somebody said to him, "But what happened to the rest of the planet?" And you know what happened when Nantucket was sent back, and so he's decided to write another trilogy. This is apparently a really big thing in science fiction these days. You don't write just one book.
Right.
And so Dies the Fire is the first one in the story of what happened to the rest of the planet. And believe you me, you would rather have been on Nantucket.
Oh, okay. Worse than going back to the Bronze Age.
Much worse. Because he posits something has happened, has attacked the Earth, or something, all of a sudden, no electricity works, gunpowder doesn't burn fast enough to actually shoot bullets, even steam engines can't get up enough pressure to work. And this happens instantaneously. So one of the first things everybody noticed is that when the lights go out, all the airplanes that were in the sky fell down because their motors cut out, which means a lot of cities caught on fire. And we're talking apocalyptic happenings at this point. So the only people that have a good chance of surviving are the ones that are apparently just weird enough in the old world to realize when the new world happens, it's permanent. And that there's a whole new way of surviving. And so we follow two groups of people who manage to grasp that. One of them is a coven of witches.
Oh.
So that make their living as singers at Renaissance fairs or blacksmithing or whatever. So some of them have a working knowledge of old-fashioned crafts that are going to enable them to survive. Fortunately for the survivors, this happens in March in Oregon, where we're following everything, and they have time to, if they can find seeds and get to a place where they can plant them, that they can grow enough crops to survive. Because this points out just how very interdependent people on this planet are today. We don't grow, farmers don't grow their own food. Farmers go to the grocery store. And so we have to deal with that. We have to deal with the fact that there are, obviously, with no more effective police control anywhere, there are some very naughty people out there who are more than willing to take opportunity when they seize it. Very entertaining. You do have to have a stomach for some bad stuff, but if you like a rousing tale, S.M. Sterling's Dies the Fire is for you.
Good way to start.
Absolutely.
So what happens to the rest of the solar system?
We'll have to find out
Next
later.
trilogy,
Next trilogy. Coming up next, we have Kelly Rhea. She'll be talking with Rosemary Zarsky, who has a book just for our young adults.
The book today is very exciting. It's by Neil Shusterman, right? And what's the title?
It's called The Dark Side of Nowhere.
The Dark Side of Nowhere. Well, that sounds kind of intriguing. I wonder what that could be about.
Aliens and humans and shots, and is one species really better than another? And what do you do when you find out that you're an alien?
And this is all in one young adult book, huh?
It is, and Jason, who is the lead character, has always taken his shots every month, and nobody ever worried about it until one day a friend of his dies, and all of a sudden he and the group of friends that
Jason runs with,
they all have to take shots every week, and it's because, as he finds out, they are actually aliens with human DNA wrapped around their genes.
Wow.
And so they're just trying to keep the two together so that they won't show that they're the aliens until they're ready.
So this starts out as a normal world, and then as it progresses, things start to go awry, and that's when he's aware of something up.
Because all of his little group of friends are being trained to be warriors, and eventually he gets to see his friend who he thought had died, who hadn't died. He just totally converted into being a warrior.
A warrior alien.
Right. Wow. And it also is a story of a boy's travel to manhood. He is a natural-born leader, but he doesn't think he is. And it's the story of how he becomes a leader.
Oh, and he finds himself in his strength and.
And of course, there's a woman in the story that helps him do this. You know, she can outpitch any boy in the school, but she's her own woman. She does her own thinking, and she is a very good investigator, and that's how he is able to find out so much so fast.
The characters are really well developed.
Very well developed, yes. And you know, some of them are stereotypical in the supporting characters, but even they have a few surprises in them. So it's really a well-written, interesting. I read it all in one sitting. I couldn't put it down. That's
excellent. Well, we think that you'll enjoy The Dark Side of Nowhere by Neil Shusterman. You can find it in your favorite library or in your local bookstore.
Thanks, Rosemary and Kelly. Coming up next, we've got Films with Doug Benton, Shelley Ziegler-Hill, and Elizabeth Kessler. I think you'll enjoy what they have to say.
So what do you think? We want to talk about another movie?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's
We've
do
seen
it.
one. We watched one of Liz's choices, science fiction movie. Tell us about it.
It's Stargate, and it stars Kurt Russell and James Spader. And what they do is they find some ancient Egyptian artifact, and it's actually a time, or not a time portal, but like a wormhole to another planet. And so, of course, they send the military in, and they go to this planet and find these people that are actually human, and there's a revolution that starts and so forth. Did you guys like it?
I really liked it. The thing I like most about it is that even if you're not a sci-fi per se fan, I think you can still get a lot out of this movie. There's still a lot of story and drama that don't necessarily involve the sci-fi aspect.
You know, even if you're into like ancient Egyptian culture, I mean, it had a lot of that background in there
Exactly.
too. I really like
It plays
that.
almost more like a historical adventure story than like standard science fiction. Now, is this connected to the television series Stargate SG?
It is. The characters are a little bit have changed a little bit in the series, but yeah, it's still connected to MGM basically.
Yeah, the origin of that series.
Right. And do you guys want to see a clip?
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, this clip, I believe Kurt Russell's character and James Spader's character are just about to get captured.
Okay, let's take a look.
Okay.
Escaped from a dying world, looking for a way to extend his own life. His body decaying and weak, he couldn't prevent his own demise. Apparently his whole species was becoming extinct. So he traveled or searched the galaxies looking for a way to cheat death. And look here, he came to a world rich with life, where he encountered a primitive race, humans. A species which, with all his powers and knowledge, he could maintain indefinitely. He realized within a human body he had a chance for a new life. Now, he apparently found a young boy. It says, as the frightened villagers ran, night became day. Curious and without fear, he walked towards the light.
Okay, there we got a look at the starship landing there.
Yes.
As you can see, it's kind of, there are moments when it's kind of dark and moody, and that kind of complements the lighter action scenes, I think.
Yes. And what's really amazing is that James Spader usually plays bad roles.
Yeah.
He plays the mean character.
Yeah,
and this
he
one, he's the good guy.
He is the good
for
guy.
once.
Really,
Yeah.
for once.
It's
Okay.
I thought that
nice.
was refreshing.
It's a lot of fun. It's Stargate,
Yes.
directed by Roland Emmerich. Thanks for bringing it in, Liz. Thanks.
for
We'll do this
watching.
again.
Thanks, Doug, Shelley, and Elizabeth. Coming up next, we have MJ Vandeventer of the National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum. She'll be talking with Robert Funk, who's owner of Express Services and the Blazers hockey team, and he wants to share with you one of his favorite books.
Bob, welcome to Read About It.
Well, thank you, MJ. Glad to be here.
Thank you. It's nice to have you here. This is a perfect book for you. I got it last night at Barnes & Noble, and I thought, what a perfect book for you to talk about raving fans.
Well, it's a great book, and as we work with the Red Hawks and the Blazers and trying to increase our fan base here in Oklahoma City, it's really a book that describes management, if you will, and sales management, and that if you decide what your vision is, and then you can describe that vision to your employees and to the organization, and then find out what the customer wants, and then deliver a lot more than what the customer thinks you're going to deliver, really makes a difference. And we do this in franchising. We under-promise and over-perform. And when the franchises find that we do more than what they expected, it makes a happy customer.
And it's not just retail. It really, everything in this book really applies to almost any business that you're in, don't you think?
It'll apply to any organization. We applied it at the Red Hawks with our staff first, and then of course to the volunteers that are there, and attendance is up 80%, and so we think the principles work, and consequently it'll apply to any company that you happen to be. Many times we in business don't really analyze what the customer wants first, and the customer is the one that really pays the freight, and they're the ones that gives us our return on the investment. So it's important that we find out what the customer wants and deliver plus one, and plus one is 1% at a time. You have to focus on just a couple of extra things that you need to do for your customer or the people you come in contact with, whether it's a hospital or whatever it happens to be.
What would you say is the greatest lesson that you learned from reading this book?
Well, I think there's two lessons in there that I think are important. When you ask someone, how did you like our service, and they're silent, you need to beware. And the other is when they say fine, you need to beware as well, because they may not be telling you exactly what they'd like for you to be.
Those are pretty telling comments, aren't they?
Very telling comments if you just read their face.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a book that is worth reading. I skimmed it last night. I'm not going to say I read the whole thing, but I did skim it, and I thought, wow, what a wonderful book for anyone who's in any kind of a business or an organization to take these lessons and apply them, to how they deal with the people they serve.
Well, the principle is there, and the president of the Dallas Mavericks said, when I invite someone to a game, I'm inviting 20,000 people to my home for dinner.
Oh, that's a wonderful quote.
And that's what Raving Fans is all about.
Great quote. Thank you so much for being here. Come again.
Thank you for inviting us. Thank you.
Coming up next is an interview with illustrator Kandy Radzinski. Every year I go to the Oklahoma Book Awards, which is put on by the Oklahoma Center for the Book, and Ms. Radzinski was the illustrator for one of the finalists there. S is for Sooner. She is from Tulsa. She has taught at a number of universities and is now mainly an illustrator of books for young people. I think you'll enjoy this look at how to illustrate a book. Kandy, you have illustrated S is for Sooner. Was this something that you and the author sat down and decided you would work on, or did the publisher approach you about this?
It was through the publisher. I just met the author a few months ago.
Now, do you work from the script? The book's already been written and they just send it to you?
Yes, I had to wait quite a long time for it, but was really excited when I got it and started doing research before I got it on Oklahoma. I'm not from Oklahoma, so thank goodness for the internet. I had to do a lot of research, learned a lot about Oklahoma.
I was pretty impressed with how much you can learn about Oklahoma by reading this, and I thought the illustrations really worked well with this. Now, I understand that you used your son for one of these.
I think artists are known for that when they illustrate books. Get their family in anywhere they can. And he's my son, and he's so good looking. I had to put him in there.
And he works awfully, his fee is awfully good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very economical. Now, did the publisher say, on this one we've got Z, we want you to fit a zebra in here? Did they give you much direction for what you were to put on each page?
Actually, next to none, which was really great. Part of being an artist, other than just the actual painting, is using your imagination to compose these paintings, and they were letting me just be free and basically do what I want.
What media do you use for these?
This is all watercolor.
All watercolor. Well, I am impressed. I think
Thank you so much.
they look wonderful in a wonderful detail.
Thank you.
With all of these. Do you do large watercolors and then they reduce them down for this?
These are were 15% larger than the actual print size. They look a little better that way because there's some booger ups here and there. You know, I could point them out to you, but since they're reduced, it doesn't show quite as bad.
Okay. Well, that's something that really you have to know. It's one. I think it's one thing to be an artist, and it's another to illustrate for a book, because there are a lot of things like that, as you just talked about, that you really need to know if you're going to sit down and be successful at it. And I was impressed with the breadth of the illustrations that you've come up with. This one here has both Indians and musicals.
Yes.
So now, obviously you couldn't find this particular Indian. Is that Geronimo there?
Yes.
I can't read it upside down. You looked for photographs on the internet to
oh, thank goodness for the internet, yes. But my mother, she has a little Cherokee, and you know, in painting Geronimo, I can see my mother's cheekbones in his face. I haven't told her that.
Well, she may find out when she sees this interview. So, and
she's a beautiful woman.
So this next one here is the musical Oklahoma, and again, I imagine that for a lot of these, because they're historical, you had to rely on photographs and that
Yes,
sort of thing.
yes. I could have spent thousands on books if I didn't have the internet. I spent almost as much time on the internet as I did actually painting them.
Well, as you said, thank God for the internet. Now, these gentlemen, the James brothers, they look a little familiar.
You know, to my knowledge, this is the first time I've ever painted killers. And, you know, I just think they have such poetic eyes. These are good-looking boys. They don't look like bad guys. It was awkward and weird painting these men, you know, because I'd done research on the internet and know what they did, you know, and these are handsome-looking young kids, you know.
Well, they just took the wrong path, I guess.
Yeah.
So you decided to paint not only head portraits of the two of them, but also to put a little action in here.
Yes.
Now, was this all just one?
Yes, it was one big sheet. Yes.
Okay. And there are a couple of these back here a little bit further where there's an awful lot of detail. There was one in particular, and I'm sorry, I should have marked it, that seemed to have an awful lot going on for it. Now, did you know that V and W were going to be on the same page, or?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That was real difficult. I know I have an artist's mind. I have trouble with left and right, and 2 and 2 equals 5. So when I had to figure out the images for a half a sheet picture or a full spread, it just took me forever.
Well, I think it was worth it, because this is a wonderful, wonderful book. And this here, the V and the W, you've got this wonderful cloud, you've got a couple of portraits here, but also a photograph and an airplane. You just threw everything in
I
here.
had more in there. They took a lot out.
Oh, did they?
Oh, yeah. In fact, this is true. The first time I did it's called a dummy, the sketches I had sent in drawings to have them approved. This is true. I didn't leave any room for the words.
Oh, dear. Well, I can see why the publishers had to say.
We love your drawings, but, you know, the words are, you know, need to be in there.
Right. They need a little bit of room for that.
They get real excited.
Yeah. Well, and you want to make sure that everything is in there. And I really like this.
Thank you so much.
I love the graphic impact of this one in particular, and I think it's really, in some ways, quite different. It is a whole different atmosphere from the rest of them.
That was a difficult one to do, and I've learned this from other women too. I've been by the site and I can't go in, and they can't either. On the internet, it kept stressing that it wasn't just the victims that was important here. It was the volunteers and the survivors and the victims. So I wanted those three there, and that's what they represent.
Well, I think you did a wonderful job of doing that.
Thank you.
And then, as I said, also, it just has a wonderful graphic quality to it that really impressed me. Even before I realized what it was, I think I was responding to these wonderful shapes as well. So, are you working on a new book?
No, not at the moment. I do my own just personal fine art paintings.
Well, and do you show in any galleries that our audience could look for you?
No, but I have an internet, a website.
Okay. Well, then we will be sure to put that up.
Great. Thank you.
On the website. In fact, it will be appearing right now, so anybody who is interested in your work can visit the website.
Thank you.
And also rush out and get S's for Sooner. I think it's a book for adults as well as children.
Thank you so much.
I want to thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Donna Morris, Executive Director of your Metropolitan Library System. You know, experts tell us it's never too early to begin reading to a child. If you spend just 20 minutes a day reading to a child, you're not only building a bond that lasts a lifetime, but you're helping that child to prepare to learn how to read. Visit us at the Metropolitan Library System and let us help you select just the right books for you and your family. And be sure and visit our website at www.metrolibrary.org.
Well, with me again is Doug Benton, and we've got a couple of important things coming up.
I think so. We're opening a new library. Folks should watch the show for sure next week because we're going to be broadcasting from the library. So everybody will have a chance to get a little bit better look at what's going on down there.
And then they can come down on August the 17th.
17th, grand opening.
Grand opening, starting at 12 noon. You can wander in, check out books, and find out what we're up to.
That's right.
So,
yeah.
And we have, very briefly, I'm sure we've got some sort of notable author.
Real quick, actually, August 12th, 1876 was the birthday of Mary Roberts Rinehart, who was at one time a very popular mystery writer in America. And I think some of her books still stay in print. August 13th, 1934 was the premiere of one of the great American comic strips, Al Cap's Little Abner, premiered on August 13th. What have you got? You got anything for us?
Yes, actually, World War I began in August of 1914, and many historians would tell you that it was not actually concluded until August of 1945 when the Japanese surrendered after we dropped a couple of little tiny bombs on cities. But many people will tell you that it was just a pause. The 20s and 30s were regrouping, so to say. But you can find out about that and about the grand opening on the website at www.metrolibrary.org.